Madam Chair, a wise committee once told me they saved their best bills for last. I'm bringing HB686. Virginia already permits localities to have open enrollment policies, but there are knowledge gaps for parents who are unaware that open seats are available in different schools in the same city or county where they live. This is a barrier, as many Virginians don't know where to start when it comes to assessing or accessing an open seat. But in cases where parents did know the correct path, there were some cases in which parents were charged excessive tuition to attend a school in the same city or county where they already pay taxes. There is an opportunity here to help provide clarity for all Virginians on this matter while still allowing local control over the process. The bill directs the Department of Education to provide non-mandatory model guidance for localities considering open enrollment policies. This guidance includes best practices such as transparent applications, lotteries and wait lists, capacity reporting, prohibition of fees, transportation support, disciplinary review processes, and continued enrollment. It reminds localities that excessive tuition cannot be used to discriminate or create financial barriers, yet does not mandate any policy changes or altering existing laws. We think this model policy will help break down barriers for all Virginians and give localities the information they need on how we can offer open enrollment and ensure tuition charges are just. There are systems in place for everyone to have a shot at an open seat and give parents flexibility to access a public school that they're already paying for. The committee's acted favorably toward this legislation the last time it was presented in 2024. And I hope they would act favorably towards it today. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from members of the subcommittee? All right, do we have any testimony in favor of the bill?
Hello, Madam Chair. I'm Benjamin Knotts with Americans for Prosperity. We carried this bill, we passed this bill 2 years ago, and when it got over to the Senate, we were told bring it back in a couple of years. And so we brought it back in a couple of years, and we hope you will act favorably on it once again. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving online. Oh, opposition. And there's no one online.
Chad Stewart with the Virginia Education Association. We are not just simply opposed to open enrollment. We think it has been done successfully in a few places, but some important details and protections we feel are missing from this bill. Done in a very loose fashion, we've seen it increase segregation both by race and income and concentrate privilege in many different cities and states that have moved towards these policies. There are a lot of protections that are needed to ensure that there is some controlled choice here and that you are working to disperse privilege across different school systems and not necessarily concentrate it in one. For those reasons, we have concerns by the lack of details and protections built into the language in this bill.
Thank you. Any members wishing to speak to this bill? Delegate Anderson.
Madam Chair, just speaking to the bill, I appreciate what the patron is trying to do with the bill. I will say my hesitation lies with the fact, kind of reflective of what BEA just stated, but also I think there's an issue with sometimes putting policy like this forward. We're not incentivizing every public school that currently exists to meet a standard of high quality. We are kind of creating an environment where people can pick and choose, and then that allows schools to continue to maybe derode or fail and not be checked and balanced properly. So I think sometimes these policies have unintended consequences for the schools that we see a vast, exit of, and I just don't want to have that be a continuation in the Commonwealth. I'd like all schools that are in the public sector to be equal and on equal footing for the students.
Anyone else wish to speak to the bill? Delegate Cousins?
Yes. Madam Chair, and I definitely understand the concerns raised. I think this bill, at least to me, seems to be asking for guidance on how to implement a policy that already exists. So rather than requiring this in the code, I wonder if the committee would be open to turning this into a Section 1 bill to have the Department of Education just take a look at this and provide its own guidance.
Mr. Uber Chair, what do you think about that?
I think that would be a reasonable way to approach it. And in that guidance, in the Section 1, it can ensure that part of that guidance are some of the concerns expressed by Delegate Anderson and by some stakeholders to ensure that it doesn't further segregate school divisions. So they're mindful if they're going to have these practices, use the best practices that are mindful of how we approach the community. I think that would be a thoughtful way of approaching it potentially.
And then for council to have time to work on this, should we take it by, or shall we see if we can work this substitute out right now?
No, I think we could adopt in concept.
Concept?
That Section 1 that's very tight, but has some of the guardrails in the language about the department. To Delegate Cousins' suggestion, I think you could do it that way, in a thoughtful way.
Yeah. Patron of the bill, what do you think about these
I'm open
thoughts?
to that, and I think Delegate Cousins nailed the point that this is providing guidance on something that already exists. We're not changing code in the way that students access school, but we are wanting school boards to understand how to implement something that's already there and parents to know how to access that.
Okay, well, thank you for being amendable, and thank the committee as well for coming up with some good solutions to help solve this problem you've brought us. So I will ask for a motion. Okay, the substitute in concept has been moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. And now...
Move to report as substituted.
Move to report as substituted. Do we have a second? Second. Okay, and it's been moved and properly seconded to report as substituted. Madam Clerk, you may open the roll. Okay, that bill reports on a vote of 6-4.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.